This is solo P1. I do F1 reviews because I like. If I get 5 views, or if I get 200, I still like doing it because it makes me happy. Because I love F1. Solo P1. That's me. Solo P1. That's me. Anyway, forget all that now. Listen, I've just made that up, by the way. This is solo P1. F1 season has begun. We know this already. But the Imola Grand Prix, that's what I'm going to call it. The Imola Grand Prix is about to start. I'm not going to tell you my problems I've had this week. I'm not going to go into it. But put it this way. This week has been so annoying, and last week, but this week has been the worst. No internet, living on a dongle, no streaming, losing everything, you name it. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm here doing my podcast, getting ready for the Imola Grand Prix. We've got the sprint weekend. It's going to be amazing. We are going to have rain this weekend in Italy, which is going to make it even more amazing. But that's it, man. This is Solo P1. We've got a bit of news for you today. We're going to be talking about Carlos Sainz signing his new contract with Ferrari, which is going to take him up to 2024. 2024. So Carlos Sainz is secured with Ferrari for 2 years, which is a good move, in my opinion, for Ferrari. If they want Mick Schumacher, I think Mick Schumacher needs some more seasoning. He needs a couple more years in Formula 1 to prove himself before he goes to Ferrari, because we know as Formula 1 fans that is going to be the next transition for Mick Schumacher. He'll be at Haas probably for a couple more years. He might actually, next year he might go to Alfa Romeo, and then he'll stay there for a couple of years to learn off Bottas, and after that, the next transition after that will be Ferrari. That will be Ferrari's gift to Michael Schumacher, because Michael Schumacher, we all know, was the greatest driver Ferrari ever had, in some people's opinion. Me, I prefer Niki Lauda, but Michael Schumacher statistically is the greatest driver for Ferrari. Now, I was on Twitter today, as you do. I'm not on Twitter as much like I used to. But I started looking through Twitter, and something popped up, something about Lewis Hamilton and Serena Williams is going to be like co-owners or part owners of Chelsea Football Club, because we know that Abramovich, if you follow football, he's not going to be there anymore because of this Ukraine and Russia thing. So he's out of there. They're selling the club. And Lewis Hamilton and Serena Williams threw their hat into it. They want to make a bid for it, along with other partners as well. And yeah, that's something that just come out of the blue. Football and Formula 1 together, and tennis. So that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to happen in the future. But what stood out for me, which was very interesting, which is, you know, you expect that from an idiot like Max Verstappen. They asked Max Verstappen in the news today, what do you think about Lewis Hamilton purchasing or going to purchase Chelsea along with Serena Williams? And what did the geek go and say? Like always, something stupid. He come out and says, oh, I thought he supported Arsenal. There you go. Nothing less to say. Dumbass geek, Max Verstappen. We've got the Imola Grand Prix. Like I said, it's going to be the sprint weekend. It's going to be a very good weekend, and I can't wait because we're at Imola, one of the historic tracks of the season. The picture behind me is the great Ayrton Senna, who tragically lost his life in 1994. Everybody knows that story by now. He's the greatest driver of all time, in my opinion. You may not, some people might say Michael Schumacher. Some stupid goons who've been watching Formula 1 for 6 months will probably say Max Verstappen. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you're just going to look at them on Twitter and just laugh it off, because that's all you can do. But the greatest driver of all time, who got the votes a couple of years ago by the fans and the drivers, is Ayrton Senna. So I don't care what some stupid ass Red Bull geek thinks of Max Verstappen. Ayrton Senna, the greatest of all time. He tragically lost his life. That statue is from Imola, at the back of the where he lost his life, on the barrier at the back. You see that statue, you can go and see. It's like a memorial statue. I ain't seen it yet, but I will go and see it probably next year. If not next year, the year after. He's my idol in Formula 1. The stuff that guy could do with a car that nobody else could. He could get a Mini and win a Grand Prix. I know it's gone a bit too far, but that's what he was like. He was a magician in the car. The car that he put on pole in 1994 at Imola wasn't supposed to be on pole. That car was dog shit. Absolutely dog shit. But he still put it on pole, because you know why he put it on pole? Because he's Ayrton Senna. That's why he's got the record for Imola, for the most wins at Imola, for the most wins at Monaco. He's the greatest of all time. And if he wouldn't have died in 1994, he would have won more. Imagine how many championships he would have won. And another person who a lot of people do forget about, this guy who also lost his life on that weekend, Roland Ratzenberger. A lot of people forget about him. They all talk about Ayrton Senna, which is understandable. He's the greatest of all time. But Roland Ratzenberger was an up-and-coming German driver, and he also lost his life in that famous car that he had. He had like, it was the MTV livery, and it was on his car, and he lost his life. I think it was during practice. And I remember Ayrton Senna, they showed loads of video footage of this. Ayrton Senna was very worried that weekend about Roland Ratzenberger, what happened. He knew it was bad, the accident, what happened to him, and he found out later on that he died. This is before, obviously before Ayrton Senna died. And in my opinion, he should have left the track then. Guy come to him, it was Sid Watkins said to him, the doctor, he said, come on, let's just leave this. Let's just go. Let's go fishing. Let's go do something. You're the greatest of all time. You're a 3-time world champion. Let's just go home. Ayrton Senna just couldn't do it because racing was in his blood. And that weekend, he tragically lost his life. And it was a shame. But that's just, you know what I mean? And since then, the safety came into Formula 1. And they changed everything. And this is why you see what we see today. There's a lot of people that you can thank. Niki Lauda was there to help do it more safe. Jackie Stewart, he was always on. He was from day one. Jackie Stewart was there to try and improve the safety of Formula 1, and now this is what you see now. Safe. I know it's still dangerous when they come out, but it's still made it a lot more safe than it was 30 years ago. So this weekend we've got Ferrari. Most likely, they are the favourites to win it. It's in Imola. It's in their backyard. It's in Italy. They're going to have the Tifosi all over it. You have Carlos Sainz. He's going to be... I heard that he's going to have an upgrade on his car this weekend. Like a power upgrade to his car. So he's going to be flying knowing he's got that 2-year contract secured. You got Charles Leclerc. He's going to be flying after that win he had in Australia. His confidence is going to be high. Who's going to stop Ferrari this weekend? But like I said at the beginning of the video, it's going to be a wet weekend. It's going to be a wet race. We've got the sprint qualifying. We've got the qualifying tomorrow. If it's wet tomorrow, wet qualifying, anything can happen. But as we speak now, as we stand now, Ferrari are the favourites coming into this weekend. Will Red Bull break down? I ain't going to complain, but we'll see how it goes. So, this is the end of the podcast. This is Solo P1. This is This is not even a flaming tarmac. This is just a normal me talking about this weekend. And hopefully this weekend's going to be a good weekend. I think it is. If you think it is, put your comment in the section below. Put your comments below, as you always do. One more thing before I go. I am now on Spotify. I'm on Spotify and iTunes. As you can see there, if you want to look for me on Spotify and iTunes, it's under Solar P1 F1 Reviews. So I'm live now on iTunes and I'm live now on Spotify. The links are going to be in the description below. Go click the link. Go and check me out on Spotify. Hit the likes on Spotify and hit the likes on iTunes. So the more people likes, the more people are going to see my hear my reviews. If you don't want to look at my ugly face all weekend on video, you can just go onto Spotify and you can go to iTunes and listen to my podcast right there. Nice and easy. You can listen to it in the car. You can listen to it when you're just chilling at home in your bed. You can listen to it on your phone. You can listen to me at the gym. Wherever. It's going to be there on iTunes and it's going to be there on Spotify. So this is me signing out now. This is Solar P1 tonight. See you later, guys. This weekend's going to be amazing, hopefully. Let's see what happens. Bye.